UFP, the United Federation of Podcasts.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on the United Federation of Podcasts Network. I'm your host for today, Brandon Shea Mutella, and joining me are my ever-constant co-hosts, Chrissie and Justy Oser. How you doing, old Justy?
You're not allowed to call me that. And by the way, Brandon, bleep bleep, you bleep face. That's how I feel about what you said. But no, it's great to be here. It's channeling my favorite Dr. Tahana.
Yes. Dr. Tahana.
Yes.
Chrissie, how you doing? I couldn't do Chrissie.
Yeah.
Because if I did it would be Christy.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's basically this,
I answered to that anyway.
Same, so. Anyways, how you doing, Chrissie?
I am doing well. I am. Not as well as Mariner was when she found out that Kirk was drinking at that bar, but, pretty good.
How's your poll going so far? Did you check?
Oh, I haven't looked at it in a little bit. Yeah, I have a poll up,
bring that up
about what scent the Data bubble bath is.
But by the time this episode comes out, your poll will be over, though, right?
It'll be over, yeah, but people can still go look at it.
Well, today we are going to be discussing the 5th episode of Season 2 of Star Trek Lower Decks called An Embarrassment of Dooplers. And we have a special guest joining us today. This is Melanie of the First Flight podcast. Welcome to Infinite Diversity, Melanie.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Awesome. We are glad to have you. This is your first time on Infinite Diversity. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be into podcasting and came into Star Trek fandom? First Flight podcast, I'm guessing that's an Enterprise-related podcast.
Yes, it is. Enterprise Rewatch.
Awesome.
I got into the original series in the 70s when it was in syndication and got super into it. Spock was my favorite character and just loved the show, watched it forever. And then when the other shows started, got into those as well and just became huge Star Trek fan, started going to conventions and all that good stuff. And I ended up having a real affinity for Enterprise. I mean, I love all the series, of course, very much. And after I got involved with Twitter and everything, really felt like I wanted to do a rewatch podcast of Enterprise. So I was inspired by other podcasters like you guys and wanted to just make it happen. So it's been really fun.
Awesome. Excellent. Right on. Well, for listeners, again, the name of the show that she's on is the First Flight podcast, so be sure to check that out. But before we jump into our topic for the day, we'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make our show possible, particularly our associate producers, Justin Oser and David Willett. Thanks, guys. Listeners, we'd love to add your name to this list, and we can do that with your monthly subscription of just $10 a month at patreon.com/UFPEarth. Now, we're not going to be talking a lot about the news because we just had a special episode covering the Star Trek Day, so we're just going to jump right into our discussion on An Embarrassment of Dooplers. And Justin, I got to say, I had the wrong character, but, I thought the word duplication when I heard Dooplers last week when we talked about the name.
That.
I was thinking it was, but you thought it was Boimler.
I was thinking it was going to be we were going to see Boimler's duplicate, is what I thought.
He was referenced at least.
I know, and so I was getting all excited. I'm like, oh my goodness! So, anyways, so let's start with our initial thoughts and first impressions. Melanie, we'll begin with you, and why don't you tell us as well what your initial thoughts and impressions are on Lower Decks as a whole, briefly.
Sure. I am loving Lower Decks. I think it's brilliant. I think it's genius. It makes me laugh. I overall love it. Occasionally, very occasionally, there are certain parts that might go a little over the top for me. The whole sonic shower thing. And if people love that, that's great. I'm just saying, for me, there are occasional times where something just doesn't land right with me. The Mugato episode was maybe my least favorite, but overall, I think it's brilliant. I watch them over and over because it goes so fast. You miss so much. And then as you rewatch them, you catch it, and it's just genius. And I'm very impressed with the animation, and overall, I'm loving it.
Mm-hmm. Right on. And so what did you think of this episode? What are your initial thoughts on that one?
I really enjoyed this one a lot. I thought it had a lot of heart. And yeah, as I rewatched it, I found it very heartwarming. I thought it was really well done. I liked all the different stories in it. I found the Doopler concept interesting, and it got me thinking. It kind of reminded me of that short trick where the Tribbles take over the ship. And it made me wonder, this could be a serious safety hazard here. But I did find it interesting and intriguing and funny. But I think my favorite part was the Mariner Boimler and the whole party. And, we can talk about that later. But overall, I think this one and Kayshawn are my favorites of the season. And I loved it. I loved this one.
Mm-hmm. Chrissy, what are your initial thoughts on the episode?
I loved it too. I thought it was great. We finally get some, I hesitate to say resolution, but we get addressing the issue between Mariner and Boimler about him leaving. We address the issue of Rutherford's memories. And then we have this wonderful character voiced by Richard Kind, who is just the perfect choice for that. And it's this commentary on embarrassment and being overly self-conscious about things, and a lovely wordplay with an embarrassment of Dooplers. So can't beat that.
Excellent. Justin, what are your thoughts on the episode?
Well, depending on how you think, Brandon, I may be the odd one out again. But I'll start with what I liked about it. I thought Tendi and Rutherford and the model was pretty cool, especially because it could do little things like shoot phasers and eject a tiny warp core. I thought that was a lot of fun, and that was really great. But unfortunately for a lot of the rest of the episode, so, it's about this Doopler species that duplicates. So immediately I'm thinking they're telling us it duplicates. It's called an embarrassment of Dooplers. They're just going to make a whole bunch. It's going to be a safety hazard, and they'll figure some way out. And that's exactly what happened. And as I've talked about before, when I feel like something is predictable, it's not funny for me. I need it to be unpredictable in some way. And then also, Mariner's being completely reckless and destroying a bunch of stuff. Yeah. And that just really kind of put me off. And it was the kind of thing okay, I can see where they're going with the character development, but unfortunately by the end of it, I was so put off by the duplicating story and by Mariner's behavior that I didn't care. I hate to say that with a Star Trek episode, but I've said that with Lower Decks before. My favorite, I think I had mentioned, my favorite part is T'Ana basically cursing them out. I love T'Ana, and I was trying to find the quote, but there's another part where she says something about that time when they blanked my blank or something.
A thing in a thing, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, that's hilarious. So I love that, but I liked it more than the Mugato episode, but still I was kind of like, this is all right, but it's only making me laugh a little bit, and I have some problems with it. So, sorry, it didn't quite work for me.
I feel like saying you
okay.
liked it more than the Mugatu episode is a pretty low bar.
Because I really didn't like that one.
Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah.
But Brandon, you've semi-left us in suspense with how you feel.
Well, I do think it's kind of funny because I did tell you guys what I thought of the episode in the Messenger, and you didn't quite believe me. You just assumed that we'd be on the opposite ends. But honestly, Justin, I didn't like this episode. Okay. Yeah, so this one was pretty low on my list, and there's a lot of the reasons that you pointed out. I mean, we'll get into them one by one, but there's something that Chrissy just said that she liked in the episode that I really did not like in the episode. So it'll be interesting to jump into this. So I first impressions are just, this is right near the bottom. This is, wow, right near the bottom for me.
You may even like it less than I 15.
did. I probably did. Honestly, I probably did. So we'll start here with the duplicating Dooplers, and I'll start with this one here. Like this plot line just agitated me right from the get-go. Like I thought this alien species was ridiculous and annoying, and everything spinning off of this plot line, the agitation that I was feeling just listening to this alien be embarrassed and like whiny the whole time affected everything else in the episode for me. So I mean, I don't know. I think, yeah. So I'll pause there and I'll pass it on. But that's my first impression. The Dooplers were very, very aggravating, and I was agitated the whole time.
I kept being distracted by thinking about like where's the energy coming from to make all of these? And I know like you're probably not supposed to think about that, but I was just thinking like this makes like no sense, or like what like evolutionary advantage does it have to duplicate because of embarrass? I don't know. But yeah. Melanie, do you want to jump in on that?
No, I understand where you're coming from. I totally see what you're saying. It didn't bother me as much as I said, but I see your point, and it was bizarre. Let's put it that way. A little bit bizarre, the concept.
Yeah, but it seems like it worked for you. Like, what did you like about that part of it?
Yeah, it worked for me. It wasn't my favorite part of the episode. My favorite part was the whole party and Mariner and Boimler and the car chase and the Vulcans, and I absolutely love the Vulcan ship. Mm-hmm. And can I just say for the record that I'm so happy Shax is back?
Yes.
Yeah.
So happy. I mean, that's a huge, huge plus for me. So I thought the Dooplers were fine. It was interesting. Not my favorite part of the episode, but it just, and it does pose very intriguing questions, as you're saying, like, what the heck? But I thought it was okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm not articulating that very well. No. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. You're fine. You had mentioned the connection that in tone that you felt to the Trouble with Edward. And Trouble with Edward is probably my least favorite episode of the entire Star Trek franchise.
And I love
right?
the Trouble with Edward. So,
and I can see that, like that mm-hmm. duplication there, because I think it's ridiculous that it happened so quickly in that short trek as well, right? So,
right.
But somehow that worked for me where this didn't. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It just made me wonder. I mean, obviously we're suspending our disbelief here, but it did make me wonder how does this even work? Like any ship they'd be on, it would be overrun in seconds. So are they on an isolated planet? Like, you know what I mean?
Are they pulling like mass and energy from another dimension? Who knows?
Right.
Do they not reproduce?
Every time a Doopler is duplicated, a universe is destroyed.
Ooh.
Oh, that means we salvage some universes at the end then, huh?
Mm-hmm.
No, that every time one was joined together, they destroy two universes. Chrissy, what do you think here? Are we nuts? What do you think?
No, I can totally see where somebody might find it annoying. 100%. Okay. But for me, it was just funny. And it was just like, I guess it might have been the voice actors part of it. Because I mentioned earlier, Richard Kind is just perfect for this. And the thing that
he was good.
Yeah. And the thing that I think most people will remember him from is being the friend on Mad About You. I don't know if he's been in anything big since.
You know what? Like I was trying to place the name, but I'm just looking at his picture, and he does look familiar. I've definitely seen him in stuff.
He was their friend, and I think he was a doctor. I don't know, but he had a recurring.
He's one of those people that's been in like hundreds of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But his voice was perfect for it, with the slightly whiny, and or he can do slightly whiny. I shouldn't say that that's just his voice. It might not be. It worked. I think the issue of, did they not know how to unduplicate, or were they just not telling people? And again, that goes with the, how did they power duplicating? Suspension of disbelief. We'll forget about that. And, but I thought it was an interesting, it's kind of a commentary on how one feels when you're terribly embarrassed. All you want to do is just go hide. and
they do the opposite.
Yeah, but then it's worse. So it was just, I thought it was just a very interesting commentary on it, and I liked it. Okay. One lost opportunity here for a really funny moment they could have done. And this is, again, because we have not seen Kayshawn talk since the episode with him.
I was going to say, and he wasn't even in the background in this one. I'm starting to get, like, upset about that they introduced him, and then he was in the background with no lines, and he's not even in this episode. Like, are they going to even come back to him? I hope so.
I hope so, too, because, But
I thought about that. It bothered me, but go ahead.
Yeah. It would have been funny if he were trying to insult them and he was speaking in his native language and they didn't understand. So that they're just standing there like they're really embarrassed, and they're supposed to get angry, but they're just confused. Yeah.
And not understanding makes them turn into 4 instead of 2.
Yeah, there you go. And they have to tell Kayshawn to be quiet.
I think that would have been funny because I wouldn't have expected to go to that level.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, well.
So I liked it.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm done.
I really appreciate what you're saying about the commentary and the, psychological aspects of it, of people being embarrassed or people pleasing or walking on eggshells, all of that. Now that you mention it, I do find that very interesting. Mm-hmm. And I think that's, neat if it makes us think about that. Yeah. And I do love the part where Ransom said, we have to piss him off. Yes. Or however he said it. I thought that was clever. That was cute.
Well, if you think about it, it's like when you're embarrassed, you want to hide. But if you get angry about something and you're the type of person that's going to like feed on that, then you kind of pull yourself up and pull yourself into yourself and get ready to deal with it. So I think there's a bit of an analogy there too that I didn't get until you were just saying that. So Brandon, go ahead.
Or maybe it's a commentary on people that do things that they should be embarrassed by, but just double down on it and make it bigger. Hadn't thought about that. Yeah. Because we've definitely had some of that lately.
Yeah. All right, Brandon, sorry, I interrupted you.
No worries. My favorite joke, I think, for this whole thing, though, was with Shax, and he's like, your paw is weak, and it disgusts me. I don't know, I just love that line. I thought that was pretty hilarious.
I don't know what that means, but I don't like your tone.
Yeah. That was definitely one of my favorites also, for sure.
Shax is my favorite character on the show, Melanie.
Mm-hmm. I love him. I think I could probably say the same. I mean, he's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, Shax is your favorite. Anna is mine. We've talked about the possibility of them getting together, so they should, and then we'll both love the show. Maybe.
Yes. Anna's just fantastic.
She's great. Nice foul-mouthed walking, talking cat.
It's exactly what you would figure your cat is saying if they could speak.
They're definitely communicating that language through their eyes when they glare at me.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny. Okay, well, let's jump on to our next topic here. Melanie, tell us what you think of Mariner and Boimler's adventures.
Interesting. When Lower Decks first started, I'll be perfectly honest, I was a little more hesitant about their connection because I felt she was a little hard on him. Let's put it that way.
That's polite.
Even though I love the characters and I love the show, that was hard for me at the beginning. But now that I'm seeing more of it, and I like that she was vulnerable in this one. I like that she said she was sad that he left and that they had it out and they talked about it. And I loved that in this episode because it made me appreciate her more. And their adventures crack me up. I mean, somebody just mentioned eyes. And one of the things I noticed watching this one so many times was with the animation, there is so much going on with the facial expressions. Like when they're trying to get into the party at the end and Captain Freeman's standing up for them and Shax and Tana, and they start looking all proud. Ransom has that proud look. You know what I mean? Like their faces shift. And I noticed that with Boimler and Mariner when they were doing that car chase and having that big adventure, the expressions on his face, like, oh, I'm going to stay calm and all of that. was brilliant. I liked their adventure together this time, and that they got to the heart of some of the things they wanted to talk about, like you know, feeling abandoned and all that. I thought it was cool.
Now, was Boimler calling out everything that they were passing? Is that what was going on?
Yes.
It seemed that way.
Okay.
I love Jack Quaid's scream. Like, his scream is just amazing. So
Okay. His scream is the stuff of nightmares for me. I don't like it.
I was just
Justin,
Go ahead.
thinking you could take that scream and put it in. You guys have been having a count for the Scream Queens on the on franchise fatigue. You could just, if you could replace all of those with Jack Quaid.
A Boimler scream. That's awesome. Justin, what are your thoughts on this plot here?
Yeah, I mean, I think as I said before, I didn't like that Mariner was so reckless and destroyed so much stuff and could have like hurt or killed sentient beings. And at the end of it, it was like, oh, great, we got away with that. Next. I mean, I'd like there was something that we've seen with Mariner before where she does things that are inappropriate or could hurt people and isn't like really punished for it, especially like when she's put in the brig and she likes being in the brig. I mean, so I didn't quite like that aspect. I mean, I did like, you know, what was mentioned that she got to express her feelings more about missing Boimler from being on the Titan. But like I said, I was just so put off. I didn't connect with me at that point. And also, you know, she's doing all this stuff just so they can get into some party. I don't know. It just seemed pretty extreme. So yeah, I really wasn't into that too much. And also like, so at this party, they're listening to like, I don't know, 300-year-old dance music. It's a Star Trek problem anyway, but I was like, that's like music you could hear at a club now, but I don't know. I just wasn't that into it, unfortunately. It
was a classical party.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, they all are. They only listen to music that's at least 300 years old.
Unless it's Klingon opera.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point, Justin, about the, you know, luckily no one got killed thing.
Yeah, because
I hear you. I hear you.
I mean, she was like breaking tanks that like sentient beings were in and disturbing habitats and breaking windows and like, so yeah, I know you're supposed to go along with it, but for me, I was just appalled. I was like, what is she doing just to get into a party? It's not like she's doing this to, you know, like save 1 million people on some planet. It's to get to a party. So like, I really didn't like that.
But it's the best party.
It doesn't look like the best party. It looks really awkward and staid to me.
Shelby.
Oh yeah.
I did like seeing Shelby.
Nice.
That was one of my favorite things. Plus, the first officer next to her is actually, it has like a bunch of eyes, is based on the concept that Bo Young Kim had come up with for Saru originally, which is such a deep cut. So,
yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I like that. I was like, oh, Shelby, that's really cool. And yeah. And Okona was the DJ, which was interesting because we've talked about on the show about Okona being on some show, and he said, yeah, I'm on Prodigy, and we thought maybe Lower Decks. And he is in Lower Decks, although there were no lines, so maybe he still is in Prodigy, because I think Mike McMahon had said something about they had to alter the appearance of somebody to keep them in line with what you see in Prodigy, and he has an eye patch. Anyway, there may be an interesting like cross connection, and we will see him in Prodigy. But yeah, there were little details that were interesting like that. Yeah,
I couldn't believe Okona was on there. That was outrageous.
Yes,
it was.
That made me laugh. That was a great moment.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Chrissy, what are your thoughts on the Boimler Mariner adventure?
You know, when I was putting together the outline, I almost called it Mariner and Boimler's Day Off, like because the car chase scene is just very Ferris Bueller-y, kind of.
I was thinking it was a bit like
things.
Yeah, I could see that. I was thinking of the Blues Brothers movie.
Oh, that's a better.
This big car chase, and they're going through like a mall and stuff. So it made me think of that. But
that's better.
But yeah, that too.
I'm gonna say I enjoyed it.
You don't have to apologize for it just because Brad and I are harsh about it.
Love it. Love your fandom.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, tell us why you love it.
But I was surprised that Boimler was on board with this right away. You know, she suggested it, and he was like, "Oh wait, let me ask him." And then she's like, "No, that's stupid." And he goes, "Yeah, that was stupid." And then he just goes with it, and then he's enthusiastic about it. And then she wants to break a rule by using the transporter without authorization, and he's excited about it. So I think he is just relaxed a bit since he was on the Titan, which I think is really great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What else? I think I don't want to get ahead of us, but Freeman is starting to mirror Mariner's lack of desire to be promoted, I think, because she's starting to understand that she can just be good with where she is, and she doesn't necessarily need to be better or need to be more. So maybe we have a little bit of learning from her daughter. Oh, yeah, and we had the Kirk plus Spock carving.
Yeah, which we had speculated about, and I guess apparently this bartender is like, oh yeah, a long time ago it was like that, but then talks about like the blonde one did most of the talking, and like that's not either one. Drinking, sorry.
Well, he's like a sandy blonde, especially like the Chris Pine version.
I guess, but
okay.
Anyway,
well, what
that was interesting. Yeah.
I could totally understand that that the bartender would completely understand who they were, early on in their mission, just like O'Brien knew which one was Kirk when he went back in time and was drinking, right? Because, everybody just knows what they are on their first looking at them. So, I mean, we talked about it. I still don't think it was Kirk and Spock, because the Kirk and Spock that I know wouldn't be scratching their name in a bar.
Yeah.
No.
And
who are these imposters?
I mean, sure. I mean, with the episode, if you want to go with your canon continuity that, Kirk and Spock in the height of their adventures wouldn't be good enough to go to this party, so they tried to crash it and ended up drinking. Sure, okay, go love your fandom. That is complete and total nonsense, but love your fandom. So, yeah.
And it's remarkably well preserved for something that's from, 100+ years ago.
In a bar. Yeah.
In a bar. Yeah, nothing's happened on that bar surface. There have been no drinks spilled. Like, nobody's thrown up on that spot. It's been fine.
Okay, well, all I was now that we've beaten that to death, no, I don't think it was them either. But I think if it was meant to be them, the fact that Mariner plus Boimler gets scribbled in next to it removes the sexual connotation, because Mariner and Boimler are not. So right,
or are they yet? No, I'm sorry.
But so if we want to think that really was them, and that is then not necessarily confirming that they had a sexual relationship. So
yeah, definitely.
Which we talked about, and I don't think that they do.
No, I don't.
And I mean, but that it doesn't matter, because while I don't think Kirk and Spock had a relationship like that, I don't think Boimler and Mariner have one.
No.
I'm sure there's people who 50 years from now will ship Mariner and Boimler, and that will be proof enough for them that they were having a relationship, right? Now. Because it said it on a bar, So that's it. That's love your fandom.
Yep. Boimler forever.
You say that with such love. Love your fandom.
Yes. Well, okay, so I got to jump into mine here. My thoughts on this one here. So I did not like this plot line. So Melanie, I don't know if you've listened to some past episodes, but I'm not a big fan of Mariner. Mariner is probably my least favorite character in Star Trek, and this adds to it. Mariner is so toxic in this episode, and it really bothered me because she is very selfish, and when they're driving off and she's mad at him for telling that story, she's like, why are you telling that embarrassing story about me? And he's like, you tell embarrassing stories about me all the time. And she's like, it's okay for me to tell embarrassing stories about you. It's not okay for you to tell embarrassing stories about me. That is toxic and controlling, and I hate this character sometimes. And this was the icing on the cake of me not liking Mariner. So, and her being completely selfish and hating him this deeply for taking a promotion adds to why I don't like this character. Because again, like, this is Starfleet. She knows this is her friend, and her friend is on a career path. He wants to. He's said it numerous times. And all she cares about is that he left her. That is selfish and terrible. So, yeah.
I don't disagree. But I think that that's being used to cause her to think about what's going on and maybe mature a bit. Like, she's never been on the wrong end of that. And now she's mad because she was. You know?
I would hope so, but I don't know if the character will substantially change in that direction, because I think they're presenting us with one of the reasons that she's funny is because she is like this. So I don't think they would significantly change that. But yeah, I think she's quite selfish in this episode.
Yeah. So, Melanie, sorry for taking that dark path. What are your thoughts on my negativity? Sorry.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, it was just frustrating, and I mean, I didn't want to start with that. I wanted you guys to talk first, right? I'm like, should I go with why I didn't like this? I'm like, no, I'm going to let you guys talk about it because we're going to have some fun stuff. And I know that when I get to my point, it's just going to be a conversation killer. And it is. So,
right.
Anyway,
no, I understand. I have similar feelings. So I understand.
Yeah. So, I mean, other than that, like, it's funny because I liked the ending of the episode, right? Yeah. So after, like Melanie, you just said, I loved the part when Freeman was standing up for her crew and saying, hey, we're good at what we do. I disagree, but, that's fine. The fact that she was standing up for her crew, and when they still got kicked out of the party anyways, and then her daughter reached out to her, and it's like, you left because it's too loud? Well, why don't you come here where it's quiet? Let's go to Kirk's bar. Let's have this together. And they had this moment at the end. And I you know what? Those couple of minutes at the end of the episode, I loved.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really loved it. And, everybody was kind of relaxed and having a good time in this bar. And, so they were all eating like meat on a stick or whatever it was, out in the streets. And
yes, I was thinking that.
Probably Gormagander. Yes. So anyways, I did love how the episode ended. It was kind of a touching ending for the episode. So bring it back into the positive side of the conversation here. So
see, we can all agree on that. And I think we can all agree that the concept of a data-shaped bubble bath bottle is wonderful, ridiculous, and hilarious.
What was your? I didn't have a chance to check out your poll. I saw that you tweeted it. So I don't know if you had it on there, but my impression would be grape scented.
Oh, why grape?
Because it's purple.
Oh, okay. I didn't have grape.
I was going. Funny to vote for Spot's catnip, even though I didn't really believe that's what it was. But you know what? Dr. Sung's Old Spice is winning right now.
It is, which surprises me. Because I was like, original so the options are original, Spot's catnip, Spring in the Briar Patch, and then Dr. Sung's Old Spice, and then whatever people wanted to put in the comments. And I really thought Spot's catnip would take it. But it's only been up like an hour and a half, so we'll see by the end of the day. But
what does catnip smell like?
It's kind of like an herby kind of smell.
It's got a little bit of a minty thing
marijuana.
No, it doesn't smell like marijuana. No.
That's human.
Definitely going to have to check out your poll.
Yeah, I know. I just put it up, like I said, a couple hours ago, but somebody said whatever gives the sense of being fully functional.
I saw that. Oh my goodness.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, aphrodisiac in a bubble bath bottle. So
it smells like oysters.
Yeah,
oysters.
Cool.
Okay.
So Trekcore was. Okay. So Trekcore was saying that data bubble bath seems to be a reference to an actual First Contact Borg bubble bath that was released in 1996, which I didn't realize happened. Like, who thought that was a great merchandising idea?
I don't know, but I know I had one.
Put some nanoprobes in your bath. Anyway.
Resistance to the bubble bath is futile.
But I am quite sure I had, because when you say that, I'm like, I can picture that in my head. Now I have to look it up. Because if I didn't have it, I'm sure my sister Nikki did.
Your bacteriological and virological distinctiveness will become our own.
I love it.
But yes, that is a weird thing that actually happened. So.
Well, should we jump to the last topic here for Rutherford and Tendi? Do we have anything to add to that? I'll just add that I did think it was cute at the beginning when the Dooplers were duplicating and they were on top of that thing and he was in the elevator complaining about getting electrocuted. I was actually getting frustrated with Rutherford at that time. I'm just like, I like the Dooplers were agitating me so much. I wanted Rutherford to shut up about complaining about this model that he was building on, wow. I was legit agitated so much by these Dooplers, I did not get a lot of enjoyment out of this episode. So,
well, I'm sorry to give you some bad news, but I've given myself somehow I can do this, a genetic engineering injection. I'm going to start duplicating pretty soon. So you might get agitated in a little bit.
I once it wrapped around to his frustration with his disability that he's got right now, I appreciated it once they got to the point. But until they got to the point, I was just frustrated with the storyline too. So
wow.
And even on the second watch, like I did watch it twice, and even on the second watch, I'm just like, shut up about the model.
Wow, so, that was my favorite part, Brandon.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry.
I have to stop everybody for a moment because I was just Googling the bubble bath, and it was a set with a bottle that was shaped like a Borg that I think was supposed to be Locutus, which is unfortunate. And
do you take off his head to open it, or
you must? And a little bottle that had an Enterprise topper. But
really?
The reason I stopped everything was because in the process of that, I found out that somebody is selling Star Trek condoms.
Oh, does that surprise
boldly
you?
Go where no one has gone before printed on it.
Oh boy!
Oh dear Lord!
I mean, if you look far enough, you will find Star Trek everything. So
I know, but you go bubble bath and then related images. Here's a bunch of condoms. What? So okay,
perfect compliment to your bubble bath, I guess. No,
well,
probably not.
I guess Riker and Troy would agree.
Do they at least call them deflector shields?
Oh, they should. That'd be good. No, that's a diaphragm.
That's funny.
There you go. There you go. Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry
We're
to interrupt the flow there, but
places
I had to share that.
The last few episodes, but yes.
Containment fields. There you go.
Perfect.
May I add one last thing about
absolutely.
this?
Please.
Bring it back to the rails. Please bring it back on the rails.
Oh, that was good. I am a huge fan of the captain. I think she's awesome. And I love that speech she gave at the end. And I just really like the character. I like the actress, all of that. Great. But one thing that did cross my mind in this episode was the whole thing could have been avoided if she hadn't have said that on the bridge that, we can't wait to get rid of him, which kind of surprised me that wasn't a conversation being held in her ready room, that she just kind of said that in front of the whole crew, which, maybe wasn't the best modeling, but I know that this is, and I'm being super nitpicky here. What I'm saying
not
is,
at all.
No,
I think I love Captain Freeman, and I think sometimes there is that casual family feeling on the Cerritos where those kind of conversations do happen in public.
No.
But as I was watching it, maybe because I used to be a school principal or whatever, I was thinking, oh my God, don't say that on the bridge. Go talk privately about that. And then the Doopler would have been okay.
I was thinking that too, but I was thinking they need something to kick off this part of the plot, so here it is. They had to do something like that.
Yeah, I saw it coming too. I knew that was it too. And then I heard the door open, the turbolift door open, and I'm like, there it is.
And you see Ransom going,
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for bringing it back onto the rails, Melanie.
Yes, my apologies.
Oh, no problem.
I think we're usually off the rails
that
more
was
than
fun.
on. But,
Excellent.
That's true.
Awesome. Okay. Anything else? Anything in the episode that we haven't discussed yet that anybody wants to talk about? Melanie, anything we missed that you want to bring up?
You totally glossed over the Tendi Rutherford one.
I was going to say I had a couple things.
Then keep going.
So what'd you think of that part, Melanie?
I enjoyed it. I love both of the characters, so I really enjoyed, just seeing them together going through this thing. And it was very clever how he used the warp core to bust open that hatch. That was cool. I just really love their characters. And I'm still getting used to the fact that he lost his memories, which makes me sad. But I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey getting used to Rutherford again because, Rutherford's my favorite of the main four, right, of the main four characters, and that's kind of a big change for a character. And they haven't really addressed it so far. They did a couple of jokes on it, like where he's dating Barnes again, but he's doing it differently this time, and, just a few little jokes like that. But this is the first time where they actually dealt with how Rutherford was adapting to it, and it seems that he's not adapting very well to it, which was... once they got to that point, I was appreciative of that more. So,
yeah, I think that was well done that they're finally addressing that.
No, this was my favorite part of the episode. I mean, I love the idea that they're on the ship and they're working with a model of the ship inside of the ship. It's just like, I don't know, it just feels like a dream, like to do that, and that they had this model that basically like works, right? Like it can fire phasers and eject a warp core and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, could they just like, launch this thing out of the shuttle bay and it could fly off somewhere and go to warp? I don't know. Like, I just thought it was a really cool idea just to think about it, even though it's ridiculous they would be able to do these things in such a small package. But I really like that. I thought it was just fun when they were playing around with it. See, I thought originally they would find some way with this model to cure the Doopler problem. Like it would emit some kind of radiation that would like push them all back. But no, I would have liked that. But yeah, I just thought it was fun. I liked Tendi and Rutherford, and I liked that it kind of turned out that his kind of cryptic notes were just so that they could just like keep working on this thing forever. Yeah, and I thought it was cute that what was it like at the beginning? He was just like pointing to little figures inside the like lounge or something. I thought that was cute. So I love this part of the episode. Like if the episode focused just on Tendi and Rutherford playing around with the model and saving the day, I would have loved this episode.
Okay, so let me ask you about that, Justin. I had a question on what you just said. So how would old Rutherford have known to leave vague clues to slow the progress of new Rutherford?
He was leaving that, the old Rutherford was actually leaving that for himself, so that when I think when he had gotten back to something and forgotten about something and needed a reminder, it would just like remind him to just keep going on it forever. That's the way I took it.
Mm.
Me too.
Yeah.
And it was so clever of her to point that out and figure that out, as she tends to do. So I liked that. And the Jadzia and Esri line was great.
Yes, I like that. Anytime.
On the D Space Nine model. I love that they pulled out a D Space Nine model.
And I love that they were both produced by Quark.
Yes.
Did you guys catch that on the box?
Like, it's 3 episodes in a row that we're talking about Quark and his franchises. Like, let's have Armin Shimmerman come in as Quark. I mean, I feel like that has to happen, right? I hope. That would be fun.
And if he can play the character without the time in the makeup chair, I think he'd do it.
Yeah, just lend your voice. I really feel like they're hinting at us that's where they're going, but I guess we'll see.
What if they had Armin Shimmerman come back and do the voice of Melva or Mulva or whatever from the one where he dresses up as the woman?
Oh, don't do that.
What's the character's name?
No, he needs to come back as the voice of the gift box that you see him in the first season of TNG. That would be cool.
There you go.
Haven, that's the one it's in,
Yeah. Okay, Chrissy, anything else?
Well, it just... Melanie, you mentioned that Tendi figured it out, and I like that better than what I was thinking, which was that she was holding out on him. She knew that was why they had never finished them and didn't tell him, like maybe hoping that would help jog his memory. I'm not saying she had a malicious streak with that, but I think the way you saw it is right, that she realized that just then and not. It wasn't something she was aware of necessarily before.
I could be very wrong.
Well, I like your version better, so we'll just say you're right.
Okay, thank you. Well, I appreciate yours. I hadn't thought of that, so cool.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, it was cute.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, see, I like that. Like, I recently had an experience like that. Like, my wife's got very bad fibromyalgia, and it actually, like, affects her memory on, like, long-term things and whatnot. And we actually recently had a thing where, with the kids going back to school and whatnot, and with my work schedule, she had forgotten what we did, 5 months ago for lunches and whatnot, and whose turn it was to make the lunches for the kids and whatnot. And, so it caused a little tension. And then at the end of it, she's like, well, why didn't you tell me this? And I'm like, well, I didn't know that you didn't remember that. Yeah. Right. So I didn't, right. I can't know that you don't remember something. So I would have no reason to mention it. Right. So like that actually kind of hit home for me. Right. When these are people that are learning how to deal with, something that they don't quite understand, because I don't quite understand what my wife is going through with her fibromyalgia. And it's clear that Tendi doesn't quite understand what Rutherford is going through with his loss of memory and whatnot. So,
yeah.
Yeah, that takes that to a whole other level of dealing with memory loss. In terms of like actually addressing it in a more serious way, and I hadn't thought about it in that way.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, Brandon. I mean, memory loss could be a really difficult thing. We've dealt with that a little bit with my mother-in-law, who's almost 90, and she'll argue very strenuously about something that did or didn't happen, and it creates tension, and it's it's a difficult thing because we rely a lot on our memory to guide what we do every day, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I hadn't thought about it that way. Yeah. But yeah, like I feel like this is the kind of show that's not going to delve deeply into that, where I'd like it if they did, because that's an interesting thing to have for him to have to deal with, like kind of rebuilding his life. Yeah.
Awesome. Excellent. Right on. So let's move on to some canon connections. I know that I've got a couple here, but Chrissy, did you have any canon connections that really stood out to you?
The ones that we mentioned already. There's Quarks, and yeah, I didn't. Yeah, Data in a bath, bubble bath.
And O'Connor.
Yeah, I wasn't being good about looking for canon connections this week. Bad podcast.
I saw, yeah, that's okay. I saw a few here, but I'll go next to Melanie here. Melanie, did you see any canon connections that really stuck out to you?
Yeah, I think we already mentioned them, but the paw being weak was huge for me. That was highlighted the episode for me. The Vulcan ship with the Vulcans on it just warmed my heart. I loved everything about that. And of course, mentioning Lore and SETI Alpha 4. Those two also, when he said, it's worse than SETI Alpha 5 or whatever the exact quote was, that cracked me up. So yeah, I enjoyed those very much.
Justin, anything for you?
So I have something I noticed that, if it was deliberate, is a super, super deep cut that I love. So there's one point in the episode when I think it's Mariner saying, "Chaos on the bridge means no one's going to notice one little transporter override come on." And I'm wondering if that's a reference to the Chaos on the Bridge documentary about TNG season 1 and 2.
That's funny.
So I noticed that, and I was like, is that probably? So I really like that. That was very sneaky. The other thing is the kind of insectoid-like bouncer for this party. And by the way, I really enjoyed that. They're trying to get in. He's like, nope, not having. That was great. That was very valiant of you. You're not getting in. Like, I love that kind of thing. But anyway, he's part of the same species that you see in the animated series episode, The Jihad, with kind of the, EM3 green that's in there. But I love that as well because as I mentioned, I'm a big fan of the books, and one of my favorite characters in the books is in Starfleet Corps of Engineers, which is Patty, who is one of these insectoid species, the Nosset, they call it. So I love that we're getting lots of animated series references, which I really like a lot.
There was the yellow bird, too, from the animated series, right?
Yes, yeah.
So, but that green insectoid in the animated series was voiced by David Gerald, who wrote the Tribble.
And it's really funny because it just sounds so lethargic in that episode. He's like, yeah, I guess I'll do it. David Gerald, I think, wasn't happy with the performance, but I think it's kind of fun.
He did that so that he could get his Actors Guild. That's why he did it.
Yeah.
So,
but that's fun. So I like those things.
Cool. I got 3. Oh, somebody else had one? Yep.
I thought of one more, but I'll wait. I'll wait my turn.
Go right ahead. No. Go right ahead. You're the guest.
I wonder when they said fish people. Have you ever heard Brannon Braga be interviewed where he calls the aquatic fish people? Mm-hmm. And this is super. This could be just my brain, but when they said fish people and they said we're not people, I thought of when he called these indie aquatics fish people. That's it. Thank you.
Oh no, I could totally see that. It makes me think also of let me see if I'm remembering right. The TNG episode
Manhunt?
What's that? No.
Is it because that's who they were? They were the aliens from Manhunt.
Yeah,
right?
The Antedians, but so it's not related, but it was making me think of schisms because the aliens they were kind of a little unhappy with the creature design, and I think Brannon Braga called them fish monks or something like that, but that's a whole other thing.
Fish monks.
But yeah.
Well, I was thinking when they said they were in the avian area, I was thinking of the Xindi avians, right?
Oh, okay.
So,
that'd be interesting.
Me too.
Maybe they found some DNA and cloned them. That would be cool.
Oh, dear. Okay, but my 3 here that I got here, so one that I thought was cool. Did you guys notice the passed out Lurian at the bar?
Yes.
No.
It's the one that snored.
Right in the back there, in the back corner behind Mariner.
It's Morn's 5th cousin.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. When Mariner was in there, she went to that store to talk to that guy, in one of his display cases, he had the shirt that Riker wore in what was the women-dominated planet?
Angel One.
Angel One. Yep. So they had his shirt like on display, that shiny one.
Nice.
That was pretty cool. But I think my favorite is in the bar on the wall. There's a photo of Baylock, the alien.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
From TOS. Like it's just hanging on the wall. And it's just like what you would see at the end credits of the original series, just hanging on the wall there. I thought that was pretty funny.
Nice.
So
very nice.
So those are my connections. Okay, awesome. So any final thoughts from anybody? Anything else that we got to talk about? I think we're good.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that I liked the Lower Decks episode more than Brandon. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the one that was your favorite too. Your favorite one was the Tom Paris.
Oh, that's
one,
right.
it?
And you didn't like that one quite as much.
It's not that I didn't like it. I just thought it was fine. Right? It was okay. So you like that one more than me too.
I just want to make a graph of like where we are on what we like stuff or not. I feel like it goes up and down a lot.
Oh yeah, we should have been keeping like a count in the show notes or something.
That's funny.
Oh,
yeah, that's funny. Melanie, thank you so much for joining us for the discussion here today. Where can listeners find you online? And is there any upcoming work or any projects you're working on right now other than the podcast that you want to tell anybody about?
Thank you. No, it was so fun to be here. Thank you so much for having me on the show. That was a blast. And I have more to think about now about Lower Decks, thanks to you guys. You can find me on Twitter at ShuttlePod2, TWO, or at the podcast at First Flight Pod. And that's basically what's taking up most of my time. So no other projects right now, but just so happy to be chatting with all of you guys about Trek online and here.
Yeah, thank you for being here. It was really great.
Awesome. Excellent. Chrissie, where can people find you when you're not buying bulk quantities of Star Trek condoms online?
Brandon, did you look at my order history?
And then handing them out to the college students.
Indoctrinate them into Star Trek while having safe sex. It sounds perfect.
Yeah, I mean, perfect. Okay. Right, so you can find me, apparently standing in the Commons doing that. So I just got a vision of myself with like a basket, like here, free condoms. Because you get that on college campuses sometimes. Yes. They'll be like, the jar. And that's funny. Okay. Anyway, in addition to here on Infinite Diversity, where I do my best to take things completely off the rails, you can find me on History with the Szilagys.
Where are the rails anyway?
Yeah, we don't have any rails. Find me on History with the Szilagys here on the UFP network, and that's a short history podcast I do with my partner and husband, Jason. We've been talking about the Wars of the Roses and how it's all Edward III's fault for having too many children. And then Jay's been covering some of the interaction between the Mexicans and the Spanish and Cortez and Moctezuma and all that. Thanks to Brandon's question.
Thank you for covering that.
Yeah, it's very interesting to find out what a terrible outlaw that Cortez was, as well as everything else he was.
Yeah. Right, and then I am in our Facebook group, the Federation Council Chambers, and I'm on Twitter at the Goddess Livia, that's TheGoddessLivia, where I tweet about Star Trek history and leftist politics and what Data bubble bath smells like.
Yeah,
excellent. Right
we
on.
Need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Justin, where can people find you when you're not serving drinks in your hole-in-the-bar wall and scratching Kirk and Spock's name into the desk yourself so that you can have a story that's made up to tell people about Kirk and Spock visiting your little establishment?
Did you say hole-in-the-bar wall?
He did.
Hole-in-the-wall bar.
I like that. No, I like that. My hole-in-the-bar wall. It's hard to even say.
I'm going to use that now. That's good.
Well, yeah. I mean, like right on my desk here that I'm at, I scratched in Kirk and Spock, and I'm going to sell it online and see what I get. So you can find me on Twitter at TrekFan4747, where I tweet about nothing but Star Trek. Yes, I guess that's still right. And you can find me in our Facebook group, the Federation Council Chambers. I hope you will join us there.
Excellent. Right on. And me, when I'm not digging way too deeply into the Mariner motivations, you can find me on Twitter.
You secretly love Mariner. You're just trying to cover over it.
You can find me on Twitter at Brandon Matella. You can find me here on the network with a show called Franchise Fatigue, which is all about movies and remakes and sequels. And we've just finished up our King Kong coverage, and then we're going to be jumping into Mad Max and then The Matrix. Finish off the year with The Matrix. The Matrix trailer dropped today. I'm pretty stoked about that. So lots of fun trailers coming. You can also find me on the Fandom Podcast Network with a show called Good Evening, an Alfred Hitchcock podcast where we cover Hitch's films in chronological order. And then here on the network, we've got lots of other shows. You can find Amy Nelson, Patrick Devlin, and Ken Tripp discussing all Trek on All Good Things. Galaxy Class is hosted by Rio Papageorgiou, Kevin Scharf, Amy Nelson, and Joe Keegan. They discuss TNG only. Mickey's Marvels is hosted by Chris Tribuzio, Patrick Devlin, and Casey Pettitt. They talk all things under the Disney umbrella. Lance Laster and Camonte Chillis discuss Always Hold On to Arrow. They discuss all things Arrow and everything through Star City. And last but not least, we have Cryptozoology, our show Sasquatch with Ken Tripp and Zach Moore, where they take a look at all things in the Bigfoot multimedia genre. Thank you very much for tuning into Infinite Diversity. Thank you to our executive producers, Ken Tripp, Tony Robinson, and Zach Moore. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music and Tony Robinson for the awesome show art. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, and please subscribe. If you want to reach out, you can find us on Twitter at UFP Earth, or our show in particular at IDIC Podcast. You can also talk about any and all of the UFP podcasts in our Facebook group called the Federation Council Chambers, or you can email us at infinitediversity@ufp.earth. On the next episode, we will be talking about the next episode of Lower Decks, episode 6, which is called Picard and Pulaski Love Each Other and Get Married.
Oh,
Until
I love
then,
that. Wait,
peace and
but
long life.
I have a suggestion for what it should be. It should be called Borgapalooza. It's just a bunch of Borg cosplaying players at a convention. No, we don't know what it is.
Borgapalooza. Anyways, until then, peace and long life.
And staying off the rails.
This has been a production of MTMR Media Works.